All right. All right. Hi, guys. Happy Tuesday. Running Tech Tuesday from Miami. God, this weather is amazing. If anybody lives in Miami, like, so lucky. So lucky.
Bad
It,
hair place, bad hair
it
place.
is definitely, yeah, my hair definitely doesn't like this weather, but my body does. Like, this is so nice. I'm not cooking out here like we do in Las Vegas or
It's
freezing.
it's freezing in Las Vegas right now, FYI.
Is it really?
Yes. It's gonna be a very cold week.
That's so funny. Okay, I am gonna have to plug it over here because my battery's almost dead already. So, no problem. All good. Because we got Adrienne on the call today, and she's going to be talking about probate. So, super fun stuff, let me tell you. I'm just kidding. The thing is it's not very fun, but it's necessary because people, people die. So, and their loved ones still need to get their homes sold. So she is going to kick us off with all the good stuff that she does for probate. So Adrienne, thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. I want to see a show of hands of those that have a will. Okay, not a lot of you. Show of hands of those that have a trust. Okay, cool. I like that. So, as you know, I wanted to start with the fact that there are two eminent activities in our life, and those two activities is to pay our taxes and to die. Um, how I got into probate was my mother passed away, and when my mother passed away, my dad was 102. He was lucid, he was perfect, but they had named me their personal representative to take care of the estate, sale of real estate, appraisals, et cetera, et cetera. And then unfortunately, recently, my husband passed away, and he passed away in a state where even though you have a will, you still have to go through the probate process, and that was extremely painful. So before I get into that, another thing that I want to ask is, who has a bank account that says POD on it? Okay, very few. What does that mean? POD means pay on death. And the only reason why I mention this is you might have a will, you might have a trust, whatever. But if you go to like online, for example, at Bank of America, and you choose somebody to be paid on death, that person can walk in the next day with a death certificate and collect all the funds, be it Bank of America, Truist, any bank, the JP Morgans of the world. If there are stocks that need to be sold, it can be done immediately. So I definitely recommend that you take a look into POD, pay on death. And the only thing that happens, it will appear on your checkbook. It'll just say it's a POD account. Okay, that facilitates a lot of things. And as I go into probate, I'll tell you why. So anyway, probate. What is probate? Probate is basically the process of proving a will and settling an estate after an individual dies, which will happen to all of us. Probate is often a very time-consuming process. I can attest to that. A modest estate may take up to from 6 to 24 months. A larger estate can take any longer, much longer than that, 3, 4 years. Additional time is also included in probate when the will is contested or beneficiaries cannot be found. What does a will mean contested? Let's just say you have 3 kids and the 3 kids can't get their act together. They don't agree on how to distribute the assets, etc. Or they don't agree with the fact that the person that died said the cutlery is going to Wendy, and Joanna says, no, no, I want it. That's the way of contesting a will, to make it in a very simplistic way. So the longer the process, the more expensive it becomes. Why? Because at the end of the day, there is a PR, which is a personal representative that the court assigns. If you have a trust, It's a trustee that assigned to do whatever they have to do, and they have to pay taxes, they have to pay insurance if there's a property. There are a number of additional costs, and just so you all know, I prepared a link for you that has a lot of stuff in it. So it has how long the process is, some of the sample letters that we use, et cetera, to garner the probate real estate business. The estate administration is done by a PR, as I said before, which is a personal representative, and involves gathering assets, appraising the assets, paying debts, filing tax returns, distributing the remaining of assets to the beneficiaries. This is a very long and tedious process. And why I want to stress this point is when you talk to a PR, there's got to be empathy. This person has had something dropped in their lap, which is overwhelming in addition to the grief. So you have to be very empathetic. You have got to say, I'm sorry for your loss. I can say that, and I can say to every person that I call, I know where you're coming from because my husband just passed away, which might not be your case, but you have got to empathize with these people. They are totally overwhelmed. They're talking to lawyers, they're talking to people that they don't know. They're having to undertake a number of activities, which is not necessarily what they're familiar with. Moving on. Facts about probate, just to dangle a little carrot for you all. 80% of probate filings includes real estate. So sometimes there are years like 2018, I think it was 15 trillion of real estate that changed hands through probate. 70% of probate real estate is free and clear. What does that mean? There's no liens on it. In many cases, because the deceased were older gentlemen or women, they're free and clear from not having to pay any mortgages, et cetera, et cetera. And in some instances, 18% of the probate real estate can be commercial. Okay, keep that in mind. So, first steps. If you really want to work this niche, hold on. Okay, like some of us that work the expires, you have to work it like expires. I would recommend you get certified. I'm a certified probate residential specialist. And the best organization to do this through is mtieducation.com. Why? I am a lazy person. So as you will see, as I move on into the process, I don't go after probate cases that are the guy died yesterday. I go after probate cases a year in the making. And that lets me put together, and I used Wendy as an example of the packages of expires that she puts together. It is way easier to address real estate issues with a year after the person has died, because there is definitely a sense of anxiety. There's a sense of, I need to get rid of this asset. And all the people that call them the first maybe 30 days are gone. All the realtors, you get hounded by calls, people telling you, I'll sell your house today. You don't need to do anything to it. It is very, very, very disturbing. And I lived through it, the number of calls that you get from people. So since the probate process takes a number of months, the asset is still there about a year down the line. And so a year down the line, you call them, they're going like, oh, I'm so glad you called me, I need to get rid of this asset. All these other agents are gone, etc. And it lets you put together a nice package of information, etc., for this person in, something like Wendy prepares for expireds. The key here is, contrary to most campaigns that we do nowadays through email and video, etc., it's not that I object to it. I make it part of the process. PRs love to get a nice, large envelope, handwritten address and name. They will open it, and I will share with you some of the things that I would include in that envelope. But having said that, I got certified only because I wanted to understand the process. It is complicated. it has legal terms, it has financial terms, it has a timeline, etc. So when a PR would say something, I would know where they're coming from. That's the only reason why I got certified. I didn't got certified to go to court and all these things. I've been there, done that. But I would definitely recommend doing that through MTI education. What does it cost? It costs you to get 100 leads a month, about $67. And I'll go into that process a little bit later. And to participate in a weekly master class, it costs you $27 a month. It is worth every cent, because as you go into situations like we happen in street tax, there will be a number of people in this call telling you, I would handle it this way, I would do a video this way, I would send a letter that says this, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely would recommend you taking the certification. Okay, training. Once you sign up, you can join their Facebook group like we have with Wendy, and participate in a weekly Zoom where you can deal with all the issues you come across and get some suggestions from the group leaders and all the members. Every week I'm there. It's amazing the things that come up. It's amazing the questions that you might have that a PR told you or asked you or whatever, and you might want to know how to address it. You throw it out to the group and they come up with a bunch of suggestions. So I definitely would recommend not only joining MTI education, but doing the training with them. Okay, so as I said before, you don't necessarily have to get certified. I would just take the course, at least take the course. Once Only Probate Data gives you instant access to thousands of probate records. This is key. When you join MTI, you have access to probatedata.com, and you get access to records in the following states: Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, and Washington State. If you are not in one of these states, I will share with you another resource that is available for you to get leads without necessarily having to go to court. So, okay, so I sign up for 100 leads a month, and I'll go into how I choose them, and then I can download them. I can download the leads that I like with a specific price of property. They give you all the information you need to make an informed decision. Each record contains information regarding the attorney, the personal representative, the heirs, the real estate available. You can choose which leads you want based on an estimated value. For example, I choose leads above $1 million and of specific location. You export all that information into a spreadsheet and instantly mail merge into your own templates to kick off your outreach efforts. So I'm going to show you what I do. So this is a typical list that I get. I access first day of the month. I go in and see the different cases that are available, and I have 100 leads that I can choose from. And these leads, I put a little check mark like here, because this lead interests me, because it's in the neighborhood that I work in, and it has a dollar value over $1 million. The same thing over here. This is in Bethesda, which is a neighborhood I work in, and it has a value of $1,264,000. Those values are determined basically by CoreLogic. They determine what they think is the average value of the real estate. It's not going to prevent you from having to do comps and come up with a specific pricing. So this is how I get my business. I'll go in and I choose two things. The first thing is find people that are out of state, and two, find people that are local. So how do I do that? So I go here. If you click on any one of these, it gives you very, very important information. Number one, it tells you who the petitioner is. The petitioner is basically the name of the person that is assigned as the personal representative. They're in charge of doing all the dirty work. And you have the name of the deceased, which is above, right here. And then you have the name of the lawyer. So when you market for probate, there are two key people that you have to keep in mind. The PR, which is the person that has to administer the estate, and the lawyer. Why is the lawyer important? Because sometimes you have to communicate with the lawyer and find out, I've been trying to get Lori Durnell and I haven't been able to reach her. I want to know if there's any assets, real estate assets that you need to unload, which by the way, you already know because you got the info. And so you start establishing a relationship with these different lawyers to the point where they will be calling you when they have a client that is in need of unloading real estate. So the reason why I basically call these people is to establish a relationship. And of course, I'm here to help you. Probate is all about, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to sell your real estate. I'm here to help you. And I need to ingrain that in people because people tend to forget and they just go after the assets. Okay, so once you have all this information, you go to the next step. And the next step is, you join MTI, you get 60 days free. That's easy. Okay, so here, just want to talk about another resource for leads in addition to the MTI. If your state was not listed, the ones that I read, then you go through usprobateleads.com. I don't particularly like this website because contrary to MTI, if I have 100 leads, I can choose which ones I'm going to be working with up to 100, and they don't charge me for the rest. Whereas US Probate Leads, you say, okay, I work in Henderson County, and therefore they'll get you all the leads for Henderson County and a specific frame time that you like, and they'll charge you a flat fee for it. What happens is, if you do that, if I did that, for example, in Maryland, I'd be stuck with properties that are outside my preamble. The values are very low. And of course, there's some that the values are very high, but I don't have the opportunity of eliminating it. So if that's the case, another thing that you can do in order to get leads, which I don't, I have to admit, because it's very time consuming, is you go online and you Google probate court in Nevada or in specific counties. And then they'll list you a number of cases of recent people that have deceased, who their PR is, etc. And you can contact them through there. Or you can literally show up to the courthouse and they'll give you the information. It's readily available and it's free, but it's a lot more time consuming. So I like MTI, and as Plan B, US Probate Leads are better ways of getting leads that you can start working on immediately. Okay, on to the next. Okay, so you found a PR, you found a property that you like, it's in Bethesda, it's $1.2 million, brought it right up my league. So what am I gonna do? So the first thing you do before you tackle probate is you have to build a marketing material library. I have included, and Joanna's going to do me the favor of putting it in the chat box. I have included in a Dropbox link in the chat a bunch of material that you will definitely should read. Some of it has the timeline, for example. If I can share that, let me see if I can share that, just to give you an idea of the timeline here. Something that, can you see that? You can't?
No,
Okay.
you might want to go reshare your screen, like
Yeah,
leave it
yeah,
and then reshare whole computer.
yeah. Hold on. Okay. So, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go down this just to give you an idea of the months, et cetera, what a person that is a PR, such as myself, had to go through. So you prepare and file a petition for probate, you go to court and do that. There's a hearing, and after the hearing, there is something called letters of administration, orders to probate, and duties and liabilities, and a bond is issued. And you have to go through that. You are named the PR. And then you have to let the creditors know, you owe the insurance guy, you owe the landscaper, you owe anybody that the person owed to. You have to send them a notice that the person has deceased. You have to notify the banks that the person has deceased. You have to create an inventory and appraise all the property. You have to pay the taxes. You have to allow or reject creditor claims. Sometimes it's like, oh, so-and-so owed me $100 for the landscaping. It might be rightfully so or not. You have to get the documentation to be able to pay. You have to notify the police, by the way. We tend to forget that. I forgot that. You have to notify the police that the property is empty, and you have to notify the county that the property is empty so they don't slap you with a major tax bill. You have to appraise the assets. You have to receive a letter from the government, a tax letter from the state and federal government if appropriate, and that takes about 18 months. You have to file a petition so they let you distribute and do the accounting, which means I can finally distribute the property. That takes maybe 17 months. And then you can sell the property and distribute the assets to the heirs. Normally it's 9 to 17 months. And that's when there's a small estate. If the estate is a large estate, as I planned before, it basically takes you, I don't know, sometimes like 4 years, something like that. So that's, again, I'm going to stress the fact that I work with older leads. Once I make that phone call, it's like, please unload this asset for me now. So that's just a tip for you. Let me go back to my PowerPoint here. Okay. Can you see that again, or I have to stop share and reshare? This is
Yeah,
getting
you
a little
should be able to
jumpy.
just share your whole computer. That way you could go from site
That's
to
what I'm
site, but
doing,
that's
but
okay.
yeah, share. Okay, cool. Thank you, dear.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
okay, so um, we are back to what you need to build as marketing material. Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to create a list of professionals in your area covering needs to assist all prospects in probate. Wendy has a similar list when she does expires. It's in her notions that tells you all the different resources, the window washer, the landscaper, the this, the that. In this case, you have to add a few people. If there's attorneys that probate attorneys, you should include a couple of those. If you have a couple of CPAs, include those. Bookkeepers, include those. Gardeners, personal property liquidators, which are estate sales companies. If you have a professional organizer, some of these places are full of stuff and they need to unload it, sell it, valuate it, appraise it, etc. Professional organizer can help you with that. Some of the light bulbs are out, and you need to change the smoke detectors, so a handyman will always come handy. So you do a couple of those. You need to give them a couple of options of storage facilities, because in many instances, and this is very important, in many instances, you can't get rid of anything. When my husband died, I couldn't even get rid of his clothes because somebody might come out of the woodwork and say, I love Manuel suits and I would like to be entitled to them. So you have to find a storage facility and store some of these things until you get the letters where you can dispose of the goods. Moving services are key. Cleanup services are key. Junk removal, donation centers, and it's very important to get a couple of appraisers. You need to appraise everything, the cutlery, the glassware, the furniture, everything needs to be appraised, dropped into a list, and given a price. Okay, so any other services that you might see fit to their needs? For example, the only thing I can think of in my area, gutter cleaning and make sure that the top of the chimney has its cover to it, because if not, these properties sit there for months and you can have critters coming into the property. So those are the two additional things that I get my clients to do. When you contact the PR for the first time, you express your condolences. and you don't talk real estate. You just said, I'm here to help you. This must be a daunting situation for you. And guess what? I put together a list of resources that might come in handy. And if you need me to contact any for you, please let me know. They love that. And I don't talk real estate. I just talk about how am I going to help you. If you're in contact with them on a continuous basis, they will not forget you. A year down the line, the phone rings. I'm currently selling 6 properties from a person who died. So and it's like somebody that contacted me a long time ago. So bear that in mind. Okay, so let me see here. Why doesn't it move? Okay, before you call, write, or send a video. The first thing I do, I go to this list right here. Right here. I choose my properties and I get a college guy, college kid, pay him a few bucks. I have him drive by the property and photograph it for me from the exterior. Why? Because in many instances, the landscape hasn't been done, the gutters haven't been cleaned, the property looks a little bit disheveled, etc. So when I make my phone call a year down the line and I talk about it, I said, I drove by your property and I think I can help you with the landscaping. The property needs cleanup. Can I do that for you? I'll get you the quotes, blah, blah, blah. Is that something that would interest you? So that is a key reason why I send somebody to look at the property from the get-go. Then, like expires, I make sure you check your local MLS to see if the property has sold or not. Even though we get these lists and they're supposed to be updated, sometimes I have found that the property has already been listed. So like expireds, you find the property, get the address, go in and check and see if the property has been listed or not. Okay, so any questions up until now? No, oh my God. Have
That's
I
a lot.
overwhelmed?
Are you guys like running away from this now, seeing about how much work it actually is? Or is this super interesting and you want to dive in? Like, I am curious.
I
That's
I think I have to watch
interesting.
the replay to understand everything.
So Nicole, do that. And also, I asked Joanna to put in the chat a link to a Dropbox that I created for all of you. I think the best bet, the first step I would do if probate interests you is go to MTI Education and take the training. That's the first thing I would do. That's the first thing I did. Not because I wanted to go to the court, et cetera, et cetera. As I said before, the key is to understand the process, the name of the documents, how long certain things take, et cetera, et cetera. Only because I wanted to be familiar when I spoke to a lawyer or when I spoke to a PR and they threw something at me like letters testamentary, I would understand what those are. Having said that, I went the lazy way. And the lazy way is going after leads that are at least a year old. Some of them are a year, 2 years, 3 years. Why? Because I found out that I am a sense of relief to them. 1, 2, they are ready to sell their asset. I don't have to go through the process of, the emails of this, of that. Yes, I call them and I say, I'm sorry for your loss. And I have these resources. And then they'll tell you, I'm ready to unload this piece of property. Can you help me? And by that time, you as a realtor don't have any competition. Most realtors have walked away because the process is too long. So that's why I go this route, and this is the way I've been getting business. And the other route I go is once you start working with some of these properties, you get to meet the lawyers. And so I set up an appointment with the lawyer. I'm a realtor. This is the area that I work. I've done a couple of probate cases. I'm here to help you. They just want to unload. They just want somebody to take that off their books. Okay, Adrian, I got these 6 properties for you. Just, do whatever you have to do and, sell them. And the real estate process, even though they call it the probate CMA, it's the same thing as you would do for any property. You take a property like this one, 1,090,000, you do your homework, check out the neighborhood, do your CMA, put it together, and then you come up what we call with the probate pricing, which is we think that the fair market value for your property is so and so. What I have found, however, is that in older real estate options, the clients want to unload it at a lower price than fair market value. I'll give you an example. I go on my MLS every morning and I see this property in Bethesda that's $500,000. I know it's worth 2.5 million. They just want to get rid of it, which affects the properties in the neighborhood. They don't care, they don't live here, they don't want it. So I'm sorry I didn't buy it, but that's set apart. But they sold it for $500,000 of property that the fair market value was 2.5 million because they just wanted to unload it. So they've gone through a very complicated process and they're just tired. It's like, let's just get rid of it. So you find some of that also going on. So that's why I chose this part, because I didn't want to complicate my life with all the legal process, etc. However, I'll go back to saying, if you do the training, you understand the process, nothing will surprise you when you start speaking to these people. Okay?
Adrian, before you move on, this is Jean. I wanted to find out on your probate timeline, is that something that we have to do, or is that something that's done in the process, or you can avoid it if you wait a year out? I'm just trying to understand this
The probate
timeline.
timeline is just to teach you what the PR is going to go through. So that's the process. I went through the same thing. It took me 24 months. But in the meantime, sometimes they get letters letting them sell some of the assets, and some of the assets could be real estate. So what I do is, if you started the process, I'll do two scenarios. Let's just say that you are willing to get into probate from day one. I have put in the link 34 pages process of all the emails you need to send, from day one, which is very different from what I do. From day one, it's like, how can I help you? And you have to be in continuous, constant communication so they don't forget you. In my case, which is plan B, I go after all leads that are older because I know that they're ready to sell the assets. Whereas if you start from the get-go, you have to wait for a certain number of processes, appraisals, tax payments, blah, 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 to happen before you can start the process of selling the assets. So that's why I chose I call it the lazy way. And going from the courthouse or from the first day of the deceased dying, etc., when that is published, you can do that. As I said, there is a whole 34-page process of what you need to do, but it gets a lot more complicated. You have to be in continuous, constant contact. And some of the questions are, you end up saying, you need to talk to your lawyer, you need to talk to your CPA, you need to talk to your a financial advisor, because I am not qualified to answer those questions. So in order to prevent that from happening, that's the route that I take.
Okay, so in your Dropboxing, is your shortcut solution in there?
In my Dropbox, there's all sorts of information for you. There's a long solution, and then there's links to, for example, what to say in a letter. That's in there. The first thing you do is you put together a package, and I send it out. Sometimes I call and they won't answer because they've been hounded by 300 people. So you send a nice package, and in that package it has, a list of what you need to appraise, the furniture, the this, the that, which helps them. It's just a bunch of documents that are helpful for them. You have to understand that 90% of the cases, these people know nothing about what they need to do. So in some instances, even though I'm a year later, it's like, oh my God, I forgot to pay the insurance. Oh my God, I forgot to do this and that. So I create a nice letter. I sympathize with them about their loss, and I'm saying I'm just here to help you look at all this material. And when you're ready to, distribute your assets or sell your assets, please feel free to give me a call. I'll walk you through that process. And then the process of real estate is the same thing as selling any other property, with one exception. I have found that the most difficult thing to get people to do is to stage. And as you know, a staged property sells quicker than an unstaged property. So it's trying to convince the PR, look, you walk into an empty, big room, great room, and most people don't even know where to put their sofa. It's not to beautify, it's to teach people where furniture goes. We don't have to do the whole home. If you have 5 bedrooms, I can do one, et cetera, et cetera. But that's been, to me, the hardest hiccup, because at this stage, they just want to unload the property.
Adrian, I have a question.
Sure.
You said the class that you recommended, I had taken it, 'cause I'm curious if it's the same one or if it's a different one, because I've done a few probates and I took a class that was from RRC, the Residential Real Estate Council, and
Right,
it's called Probate Specialist Certification.
right.
Is that a different course?
It is. It
So
is.
which is the
MTIeducation.com is the website for
which is it?
MTIeducation.com.
Education. Okay.
So it's a number of courses that you take, and then if you want to opt for the test, you can opt for the test. You don't necessarily have to take the test. Why did I take the test? Because I liked the acronym, for 2
Okay.
reasons. I like the acronym, and then you have, when you pass the test, you have the option of creating, you get a website. And so
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
definitely recognize that that's one of your specialties. So,
Okay.
so
Because with the one I took, you got a designation.
yeah,
And then
CPRES,
you can put,
Certified Probate Real Estate Specialist, yes.
okay, awesome. All right, I'll check into that one as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
to me, I did a research of all these different places, and to me, that was the most comprehensive, affordable, relatable, and it had a lot of material that I didn't have to prepare and think about, et cetera, et cetera. So when you join, there's like the ebook, which is the 34 pages of the whole process of what to do, blah, 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 how many emails and videos and all this you need to do. But it gives you the sample letters, the number 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. It gives you what to do for video. It gives you, all the material that you need to make this a successful campaign without having to think about it. You just tweak it, put your name in it, make it your own. I use ChatGPT to make it my own. But I would definitely, that's the reason why I chose them. And affordability and a lot of content. And we have a weekly mastermind, which I particularly like. I'm more into, like, if I call a PR and they don't pick up, I might do a quick video, and I'll send them a quick video. Like, hi, I tried locating you. This is whatever. I'm so-and-so. This is what I can do for you. I'm very sorry for your loss. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to call me. And they see a face, a real face, etc. So I took some of the material and I just tweaked it. Some of them I made it video, and some of it I made it paper. What I can attest to, having done this for several years now, is that the older generation prefers paper. They like to get a package. It's interesting. So I print some of the documents, like the timeline, etc., which is overwhelming. But then I'll call them and I say, "Did you get my package?" Yes. "Did you look at the timeline?" "Yes, it's terrible. So many months, etc., etc." I've been through the process. I tell them, "Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll get through it. If you need my help, if you need me to talk to your lawyer, if you need me to talk to your whatever, I'll be there for you. I'll help you." And in many instances, the PRs are older men or women that really need help. So you need to do a lot of hand holding, but at the end of the day, if I sell one probate property a year, it pays for everything.
John has a question.
I was just wondering, since you're going after the older probate, do you find sometimes the attorney is already, or the PR has already selected an agent to work with, and you do,
No, the problem that you have, or the advantage for the older leads, John, is that the realtors that hounded the PR in the beginning are gone. They don't
yeah,
have,
so, because I did do that course, the MTI, and I think I had the wrong system. I was going from the beginning and it wore me out. It's like, I don't have time to stick into this game. But
welcome to my
I like
club.
your process. Like, no, wait till it's all over and let someone else, do all the appraisals and all that stuff, and then come in when they're ready and say,
Exactly.
hey, I'm here to help. And they're like, I need it now, because all the others probably dropped off. They're just
Exactly. And
disinterested.
the process is so overwhelming that you don't keep track of, hey, John from Denver called me.
Right. No,
You wait for the
I
next
had, like
person.
you, I learned by, my older brother passed away and I was the PR, and I'm like, wow, I don't know what the hell to do. Even though I took the course, it helped a lot with the language, but I still learn from fire, burning fire. Just,
Right. And the other interesting thing, and that's why I made this question in the beginning, who has a will, who has a trust? Those are excellent sources of referrals for you. You just go back to your lawyer and you say, I'm starting this new niche of business. I need you to connect me, because the person that writes your trust or writes your will is not the person that you're going to have to go to when you're doing probate. Usually it's two separate entities, two separate types of lawyers. And so what you end up doing is you end up going to your estate planner or person that drew up your will, and they usually have a list of people that do this process that they can refer you to. And so it's a new recommendation that works. So the only thing you have to do is you ask for an introduction email, and then you take it from there and you let these people know, I'm trained in this. This is part of the real estate. So if you have any cases, I'm here to help you. And then, like any other lead, you have to be on a continuous basis until they tell you to go fly a kite, which usually never happens. Because the lawyers don't want to have to find the realtor. The lawyers don't want to have, the package of having to unload the assets. So they're more than willing to team up with somebody. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question, Adrian. Can you share your personal probate website?
I don't have it. I couldn't pull it up online this morning. I don't know why. I was upset. But it has it's a very nice design. It reminds me of Wendy's Expires because it's all gold and black and all that stuff. And in that website it has the 34 pages. It has my ebook, which is 34 pages long, that tells the person the whole process. It has the timeline sheet, etc. So I populated mine with certain key information that I thought people would like to see. And then the other thing is I'm currently working with somebody to do a probate page on my current website, deluxedwelling.com, because I have a lot more visitors going to my normal website. So you can either link it to the website of probate, or you can create your own probate page on your own website. It's a little, let's just say, people don't like to talk about death. So, was iffy. So I had a special death or probate website. But then I thought, it's very good business for me. So I'm just gonna incorporate it into my normal website.
Yeah, I would definitely just add it as a tab at the top,
Yeah.
because yeah, if you're driving a lot of traffic there, I mean, chances are you're gonna find a lot of people that will need that, and they could just go there.
Yeah,
And
and you can
that
also blog,
probate tab could open up to your website.
right. And you can also blog about it. There are a bunch of articles that are out there, cases, et cetera, that you could be adding to it. And I blog already. So to me, it was, let's just do it all in one place. So Wendy, you're absolutely right.
All right, John and Claire.
Hi there. Great presentation. Thanks a lot. One of the other advantages, it seems to me, that kind of reading between the lines is by contacting them a year later, people that have already been selling it based on the fact that it's in a trust have already washed out of the system. Do you find that?
You do, you do. It's interesting. In trusts, trusts are a different process. For example,
Right.
if you have a trust, you really don't have to go through the probate process. So you can unload the properties like literally once the death certificate is issued. That's how I have currently 6 properties. The trustee called me and said, I'm the person responsible for the trust, and I have these 6 properties. This is the deceased. Here's the death certificate. Let's do what's necessary, do the assessments, do the CMAs, find out what the fair market value, and let's just sign the listings and put them on the market. So yeah, the more you wait, the better chances you have of, number one, landing the deal and getting it done, because people are already ready.
And do you find that your contact with probate attorneys leads you to trust attorneys, which then leads you to people that are looking for help when somebody passes away?
To me, it's easier to go to the trust attorney, because the attorney that takes care of probate, et cetera, is not really the person that's going to draw up the trust for the client. So once you do the will or trust, those are the people that you have to talk to, because the trusts definitely have assets that you can liquidate immediately when the person passes.
Mhm.
So that's where I would go for that kind of business. If you want to go through normal probate, which I don't know, some of these are just normal probate, like the ones I showed you on this page, those I have to go through the PR and the attorney because they're probate cases.
Got it. And
Did-
you mentioned that you've got a URL through MTI,
Yeah.
but it's not working right this minute?
Yeah, I tried it this morning again and I couldn't get access to it, but it's a beautiful website. As I was mentioning before, and then Wendy agreed, I'm gonna just add it to my normal deluxedwelling.com website, because I have a lot more traffic going there than people looking for me through probate.
Got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your process. I think we had another question though.
Oh,
don't-
I was gonna ask a real quick question.
Okay.
Find that, because here I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it seems like I'm working with one probate that I've done a couple, attorney that I've done a couple with, but it seems like it's such a tight, it's hard to get your foot in the door with these attorneys. Did you find that as well where you're at? It's a very closed niche, and to get your foot in the door is very difficult here.
Well, I think it's difficult like in any niche. You're trying to get into, I don't know, somebody to refer you something, and it's like you got to do your homework. So the best way is like, I talk to the PR and I say, so who's your attorney? Oh, it's John Doe. Okay, so what type of relationship do you have with your attorney? Well, it's good, I'm just waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. Would you mind if I give him a call? And see if I can help you streamline the process. And so you call the attorney, I'm so-and-so, I'm Adrian Small, I'm working with the PR, and I just wanted an update, when can we sell the assets, blah, 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 etc. You do one case, and you got your foot in the door. If you work it right, you just need one case with an attorney. And then it's like when, I don't know if you guys do divorce attorneys. I love divorce attorneys. I don't like divorce, but I love divorce attorneys. So the first clients that I had that were getting a divorce, which was a very complicated process because they fought a lot. At the end of the day, I asked one party to get me to their lawyer and another party to get to the lawyer. I met with the lawyers, and then it's hunky dory. And then you have your foot in the door and you can generate business. The same thing happens here. It's not easy, but they have their favorites, their agents that have been working with them for years, blah, blah, blah. Yes, sure, like divorce attorneys. But it doesn't mean that if you do your homework right, you can get your foot in the door.
Soledad, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Adrian. Yeah, you were talking about just getting leads 1 year and older. Can you do that through probatedata.com as well, or is it just through MTI?
No. You can get it through this over probate leads option. You can select the dates. Like you can
Okay.
say, okay, I want leads from I want leads for Henderson County from January the 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. And then they'll pull them for you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You have that same option everywhere you go. The only reason why I favor this option is because I can choose out of the 100 properties that I have a month, I can choose those that I want to work with, and I don't have to pay for the rest.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
So I know this is a very daunting process. I'll put my email in the chat. So if you have any additional questions, if you need assistance in, how to go through the process, etc. When you look at my link, it's going to be plagued with information. It is daunting, but it is very good business because death is guaranteed. And the amount of properties that are out there waiting for an agent to pick up and sell are amazing. So it is a very good lead source.
That's so good. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but it is business and it's necessary. And it's funny when we hopped on the Zoom, Adrian asked me if I had a trust or a will. And I do not.
Bad girl, bad girl.
I know. I tell all my clients to put their home in a trust, like 100%, because I don't want to have to deal with the probate. I would rather, and I don't want their family to have to go through probate. That is so important. But yet I don't have one. So I will work on that. Whatever.
Wendy, we do extreme sports. You gotta have one.
I know.
Anybody that
So-
doesn't have it, let me tell you, you're in for 28 months. You want to yourself.
Yeah.
The process is so complicated. Don't do that to your loved ones that stay alive. That's what I tell everybody. The only, even I currently had a case where I was called and I was asked, this lady wants to sell all these properties and she's dying. And I said, I'm going to sound terrible, but we need to wait till she dies. And they said, why? I said, because she bought property in the 60s, the 70s. The capital gains on those properties is going to take away all the resources. Whereas capital gains do not happen when the person passes away and the heirs don't pay that. So again, you go to that little course that I said, those are little tidbits that you get. So when you're talking to alive people, this is what you can tell them, children or things like that. I have a 101-year-old dear friend, and he was like, Adrian, I want to sell this because I want to give the money to my kids. I'm going
You
like,
say 108 years old.
101. He's 101.
Oh,
And I told him, no, you're not going to sell it. He said, why? Because, why do you want to pay $500,000 worth of capital gains tax? Whereas if you croak tomorrow, your kids don't have to pay it. Oh, okay, then I won't do it. Things like, so you pick up little tips like that to coach some of the older people. But it
Yeah,
is
that's
definitely
crazy.
very good business. And Wendy, I'll be hounding you. You guys need to I'm telling you.
I know, and I have a trust guide that I send everybody to. So I have a guy. I just haven't went and seen the guy. So I'll work on that. Whatever.
So
Okay.
appreciate
So
y'all listening in. As I said, if you need anything, I put my email in there. Happy to help you. It is very good business. So
appreciate you. Thank you for doing this because I know I did not want to, but I knew people wanted to hear it. So
I hope
that's
you
awesome.
all got a little snippet of what it is like.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So Joanna put in the chat Adrian's link to her Dropbox. And then yeah, if you guys are in the Las Vegas market, I do have a good trust guy if you need one. So just message me. Not today. Yeah, it's crazy here. We have so much going on. Okay, so but we do have Tech Tuesday VIP. I'm going to hop into that Zoom room and work on the things with people. So if you're in VIP, hop on over. If you want to be in VIP and need help, I'm sure Joanna put that in the chat somewhere so that you can.
Doing it now.
Ah,
Sorry.
I see her working. She's on my emails are like this. Joanna's just working. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Have an amazing Tech Tuesday. Thank you again, Adrian. And I'll see you guys in VIP. And next week, as far as the lineup goes for November, yeah, I need to work on that. I do know we had some things on the list. Joanne, do you have the list?
I don't think we've come up with anything.
Listing
I
to
think we're gonna
leads.
try to get Scott Pierce on for listing to leads.
Yeah, I want to do the listing to leads. And then we have a cash offer, a easy cash offers. This is freaking cool. So, and that's super techy. There's a whole website about it, and they do bring cash offers for your property. So I need to work on getting them signed up for that. And I have another couple written down somewhere back home. So I'll get it all set and I'll put it on the Tech Tuesday group under events. So have an amazing week and Halloween. Don't forget to make your Halloween videos and tell everybody happy Halloween and all the good stuff. So see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
You.